Flat Earth Asshole here. This isn't going to be your typical versus video. I'm actually going to react to these guys while I'm watching their video. They just released their video. Joe Rogan and Mick West talking about debunking the Flat Earth. And their video just came out about an hour and a half ago. So I feel it's very important that I strike really fast. And I don't have time to edit a big, long versus video like usual. So today, I'm going to go right after these assholes, like in real time, super fast, and get this up so that they see this video and that my reaction video is the first one they see. You're going to have to deal with me, the Flat Earth Asshole, Joe. Let's get started. Yeah.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. We're live sporting the latest Round Earth Shill. We're just coming out with it. Round Earth Shill t-shirts. Both Jamie and I get $3 per month from the federal government to tell you that the world is round. And Mick West is a big part of it all. He is one of the main shills that tells everybody that he has a whole website dedicated to arguing against people who think the world is flat.
Yeah, the difference is I don't get paid for anything.
Come on, stop lying. I know you're getting $3.50 per month.
Yeah, I wish I did. I have to pay for my web hosting, and it's coming out of my pocket, and nobody pays me anything.
See, Mick West is serious. He's not joking around with us.
Okay, so right away, they come out and tell you that they're shills. But they laugh about it because Joe's got a shirt on that says, I'm a Round Earth shill. Yeah, so that means we can't call Joe a shill or Mick a shill because they came out and called themselves a shill. So it's a joke, right? Yeah, nice try, Joe, but we already knew you were a shill. And your buddy Mick here, yeah, he's a shill too. He runs 2 websites. One of them dedicated to debunking flat earth curvature. Oh, and another one dedicated to telling people that contrails are not chemtrails. They're just contrails. So there's no such thing as chemtrails. They're all just contrails. So when you see a trail sticking around in the sky and lingering, this guy's website will tell you it's just a contrail. And his website's been around for over a decade explaining that, hey, those lines in the sky that have lingered around for 3-4 hours and hazed out your entire sky, it's all good. They're just contrails. He's had that website for over a decade. And then, for about 5 years, he's had this Metabunk website, which knocks down the curvature numbers. You go to his Metabunk website, you type in the observer height, and then it knocks down the curvature number per mile significantly so that when you see it, they can say, oh, it's not flat. Go to Metabunk and type in the observer height, and then it knocks down your curvature number by a ton. So this guy, his whole life ambition, and he's doing it for free, he's saying, oh, I don't make any money on this. Yeah, runs 2 websites. One dedicated to saying that the fucking poison that they're spraying us with isn't poison, that it's just a fucking contrail, and that the other one is dedicated to the curvature formula, to knocking it down, significantly reducing the amount of curvature. Those are the 2 websites this guy runs on his free time. And that's what he wants us to believe. Joe comes out with his I'm a shill t-shirt. Yeah, here's my t-shirt. Remember this stance that you used to have that we didn't go to the moon? Yeah, we knew you were a shill the minute you backed off your stance and you kissed Neil deGrasse Tyson's ass. And you're like, oh, there's no way we didn't go to the moon now that Neil's here. Yeah, what happened? Did Dana White crack the whip and say, hey, if you want to do color commentary for the UFC, you have to backtrack on your moon landing stance. You have to backtrack on every conspiracy. It's exactly what you did, you controlled little bitch. Yeah, this is my shirt. It's the I'm the real deal shirt. Lunar module or a homeless tweaker shelter. It's because we didn't go to the moon. And anyone who buys my shirt gets to kick NASA in the balls. Look at your shirt. I'm Joe Rogan, I'm a shill shirt. He's displaying to the whole world he's a shill. Too bad most of us already knew it. Let's get started.
This has got to be one of the most bizarre trends. And Jamie, I think you said it first, that you thought it was originally a troll. You thought that they were fucking around like...
I still think some people are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But I feel like it started out with like 4chan or something like that, or maybe Reddit. These crazy kids, these wacky kids, they decided to start trolling, saying that the Earth is round, or the Earth is full.
Yeah, that's not how it started. The flat earth didn't get started by crazy kids trolling on Reddit, you stupid idiot. It was known for thousands and thousands of years that it was flat. And then a bunch of evil satanic assholes, like the ones who control you, came along and decided to convince everybody it was round, there's no more land, there's no sort of enclosure, there's tons of other worlds, you're an insignificant speck of nothingness, and you came out of a monkey's asshole, right? And that's the story you choose to believe, right? But is it the one you choose to believe deep down inside, Joe? In your heart?
Well, that's some of it, but a lot of it is just people who, they actually believe it.
Yes. There's a lot that actually
there are people who actually believe it, and then there's people who see that there's people out there who believe it, and then they start like kind of egging these people on.
Yes.
And then it becomes really, really hard to tell where the dividing line is. Who's actually trolling, and who's actually a genuine, true believer.
This is absolute bullshit. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands, dare I say millions and millions of absolutely authentic flat earthers who are not trolling anybody. We're using our senses. We're seeing the flat horizon. We're not feeling any spinning underneath us. Nobody can prove to us in any experiment that the earth is actually spinning. No one can prove to us that water can stick to a spinning ball. And you guys think, oh, it's just some clever trolls out there who came up with all this information. Yeah, nice try, Mr. Metabunk. Nice try, Mr. Go ahead and breathe the chemtrail poison, and I'm the guy to tell you it's just a contrail. Yeah, that's an evil piece of shit right there. This guy's whole life is dedicated to telling you that the poison they spray us with, the evil shit that they're doing above our heads when airplanes are leaving trails that last all day and haze out your sky. A once blue sky turns to a hazy gray bunch of shit. And this guy's here to tell you that's all natural, it's all good. And that's his job. And he's saying he doesn't make any money off of it. Evil piece of shit right here, Mick West. You know, I don't wish bad upon most people, but I'll wish bad upon a piece of shit like this.
There are absolutely a lot of true believers, but there's also a lot of people with like little green frogs in their avatar that think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of that type of person has kind of adopted it.
Yes.
Yeah. You were talking about shit posting the other day.
Yes.
And that's just something that you could do is if you want to just annoy people.
Yes.
By shit posting, you'll just post a bunch of flat Earth memes because they're so infuriating to the average person that they're just going to be, what the heck is this that this person is posting? And, it's the shit poster enjoys that type of thing.
I was watching a video with this guy was ranting on and that it's not a theory, that we need to stop accepting that the flat Earth is a theory, but that it's a fact. We need to start accepting the fact that it's a fact. He was hilarious. Let me find this, because I saved it. I think his name was like Vegan Warrior or something like that, which is always a good... Yes, Vegan Warrior. He's a realist. It says he's not only a flat earther, he's a realist.
Yeah, I think I've come across him. I think there's actually a relatively small number of people who are really active in promoting the flat earth stuff on YouTube.
What's adorable is that they could keep claiming that all the photos of Earth are fake, but they don't have a single photo of this fucking ice wall that's supposed to be around Antarctica.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, erroneously, that you're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. Like, yes, you are. They keep saying that there's no photographs of Earth from space, that they're all composites. No, that's not true. Why do they keep saying that? They keep saying that. There's a fucking satellite, there's a bunch of satellites, but there's one from Japan that takes high-resolution photos of the Earth every 10 minutes. The full Earth from 22,000 miles away.
Yeah, that's the...
Yeah, all those images are composites, and they're paintings, and they're CGI. They're bullshit. If I was to go on Google right now and look at Earth from space, none of their images match up. They're all different. They're all slightly different. And your Japanese satellite imagery is just a frozen, suspended Earth that just has a light source going by it over and over again with the same hurricanes that they keep replaying over. I swear it's on a loop. They just keep showing the same shit over and over again. And it's a frozen image. It's not spinning. Why do you have to take an updated picture every 10 minutes? Show it to us in real time. That's all we've been asking for. 24 hours. Real time. Show us it spinning. Not this fake Japanese shit every 10 minutes where the light source rolls by it in 10 seconds. It's like, oh, here's a full Earth rotation. And they never said you weren't allowed to fly over Antarctica. We say that there are no plane routes going over Antarctica. They say it's too cold to fly over it. Right? We're told it's too cold to fly over Antarctica. That's why all the shortcuts by going over Antarctica, we just don't do that. Right? We can go to the moon with a homeless tweaker shelter and tinfoil, but we can't send a Delta or a Southwest flight over the Antarctic. So don't cross up what we're trying to say.
The Japanese Himawari 8
Yes.
satellite.
Yeah.
But there's also there's a US satellite that was just launched last year, the GOES 16 satellite, which is basically the same resolution.
Pull this sucker right up to your face.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and the Russians have a satellite. Everyone's got their own satellite, because this is basically weather satellites.
Yeah.
So they put them over the equator so they can see their own country.
That doesn't
Russia
look
has
like
one,
that.
mostly see India.
Those are two different
China has one,
images.
it's not as good as the other ones. But the Russian ones are it's the same resolution, 121 megapixels. That's the size of the image they do. It's like 11,000 pixels by 11,000 pixels view of the Earth. And you can zoom in and you can see cities, you can see contrails.
Chemtrails?
These images from the satellites to actually match up with the views of clouds and contrails from the ground. So you can actually check to see if these images are actually correct, at least for where you are.
Right.
Then you could find a friend somewhere else and ask them, do you have this type of cloud overhead? So you can actually verify whether these images are actually real or not.
Well, I brought it up to my friend Eddie, and he said it's all fake. He said all the photos are fake.
He's right.
Fake. I'm like, but how would you know what a real photo of Earth from 22,000 miles looked like? Wouldn't it look exactly like Earth?
Yeah, I think when you're at that stage of deep...
How would you know what a picture from Earth would from space would look like? Wouldn't it look like Earth? Oh, good one, Joe. Hey, what would Earth from space look like? Would it look like Earth? Yeah, it would look like Earth. Oh, well then that fucking proves it. Hey, let's look at Earth from space, right? Let's just take a little break from this video for a second and go check out Earth from space. I love doing this. Earth from space. Oh yeah. Go to the image results. There they are, baby. Earth from space. Now, did I type in fake Earth from space? No, I didn't. I just typed in Earth from space. Very first one that comes up, NASA Blue Marble. NASA Blue Marble is absolutely fake, absolutely a composite. Anyone who takes the time to look can see that there's copy and pasted clouds on the image. Copy and pasted clouds right here. Just zoom in right here. There are other copy and pasted clouds within it, but these are the most obvious. Just zoom in right there. So there you go. The very first image they show you has copy and fucking pasted clouds in it. NASA website. NASA. Nah, it's your logo with copy and pasted clouds. Oh, well, my friend Eddie thinks that they're all fake. Yeah, your friend Eddie is right about that. Speaking of Eddie Bravo, hey Eddie, I'm the Flat Earth asshole. You want to get in touch with me? I can help you debate your buddy Joe here. Eddie, get in touch with me, Jake Gibson, the Flat Earth asshole. I'll come on and help you debate Joe and anybody he brings on. I can destroy this chump in my sleep. And guess what? I don't live in Thailand. I live here in the good old United States. I can find my way to this show. I'll pay my own way to get to this show. Chances are they don't have the balls to put me on this show because they're only going to put controlled people on this show. So that's what makes me wonder about you, Mr. Eddie Bravo. If you are the real deal, get in contact with me and I'll destroy this chump. I live here in the United States. I will find a way to get on this show with my own money. Get a hold of me. You know who I am. I know for sure you've seen my work before. Flat Earth Asshole and Eddie Bravo. That might be a fun team against Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse live on the air. Can we make that happen? Anyway, let's get back to what I was showing you guys. Alright, so Earth from space. You get all these images, right? So let's check out the next one. Oh, yeah, that looks real, right? There's no way that one could be fake. Right? Oh. Now, I can see stars in this image. Right? Now, they say that you shouldn't be able to see stars in space because the sun is so bright. Now, some of these images of Earth have no stars, and some of them have stars. So does that mean the ones with stars aren't correct? This one looks better than this one, right? That one looks like a piece of shit, but there's no stars. This one has stars, but looks a little better. Alright, let's keep checking these images out. Alright. Now, Joe, is that possible that could be fake? Impossible, right? That has to be the real curvature of the Earth, right? Your buddy Eddie says that they're fake, but you think that they're real. Because look, it's curving. That must mean it's the curvature of the Earth. There's no possible way it could have been a real photo that was flat horizon, and then they just took a little bit of photoshopping and just curved it. No, that's not possible with today's technology. You can't take a flat horizon and then add curves. Impossible, right, Joe? So they can't be fake, huh, Joe? Are you catching my sarcasm, Joe? Because I'm laying it on pretty damn thick. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Wow, look at that. You can actually see the clouds in the image. Holy crap. Well, let me go back to it. Wow. Let's blow that one up, actually. Man, look at that. You can see the clouds on the outside of the Earth. So, how come these other ones, the clouds are inside the Earth? So, are the clouds on the outside of the Earth or are they on the inside? Because all the pictures we usually see are perfect spheres, but there's that one image that they show us, and I've had people tell me that that's the real one, that was taken with Hubble, where it's got the clouds going around the outside, right? So you can see that just regular people typing in Earth from space, and we're noticing that all the images look completely different, right? They don't look the same. The continents grow and they shrink. Continents change sizes. The shades of the ocean change. Well, that's just the angle of the camera. We have satellites. We have satellites. Oh, Japan has one, and Russia has one, and China has... Oh, yeah, there's all these satellites, right? Just like those pictures of Earth. Yeah, let's look at your satellites in space. Satellites in space. Blink. There we go. Satellites in space. Let's go to images. Oh, look at that. The very first image that pops up. Wow, that must be all the satellites in space. Yeah, that doesn't look ridiculous at all. Yeah, that's the first image that pops up when you Google satellites in space. Here's the second image. Yeah, those have to be real, right? There's no way that could be fake. Yes, and these are definitely real satellites too, right? Oh, and there's one. Yeah, this box with wings that looks like it's a cartoon must definitely be a real satellite. Yeah, Eddie Bravo and all of us who see cartoons must just be crazy, because everybody knows a cartoon box with wings is definitely flying around in space, even though you've never been there to see one actually eject from the rocket ship and go. This cartoon picture is definitely proof enough. I mean, it came from a government organization. What would they have to hide? Shh. Look at these freaking pictures, man. Joe, have you ever actually looked at any of these? Have you ever stopped to Google satellite in space? No, you've been watching guys lay on top of each other for too long. You've been watching dudes roll around on the floor for so long, you haven't went and looked. They are cartoons. They're CGI. They're not real. All right? Cartoon. Cartoon. Look at that. Like, what takes the picture of the satellite? You telling me another satellite lines up and takes a picture of the satellite that's supposed to take the picture of Earth? Isn't that awesome when you can line up the satellites to take pictures of other satellites? Man, what amazing technology they have. Yeah, none of these look fake at all, do they? Yeah, this is why flat earthers exist. Because there is no evidence of a globe that doesn't look like a cartoon or CGI. There is no evidence of satellites in space that doesn't look like cartoons or CGI. GPS, internet, cell phones, that's all technology that exists here on the ground. They're using towers, all those towers you see going up all around us. Yeah, that's the technology. You can do triangulation with the towers around you and pinpoint exactly where somebody is with their phone. You get 3 towers around your phone. They can triangulate where you are with today's technology. No need for any satellites in space. As you can see, they're cartoons. There are no satellites in space. Cartoons. Let's get back to it.
Every single image is this 121 megapixel image, and it all matches up exactly with what the weather is around the world. And it matches up with all the other satellite images. One from the Russians, one from the Chinese, one from the Japanese. They all match up. And I really don't think that the people who say, it's fake, have really actually looked.
Well, you're absolutely right. They definitely haven't, nor do they have any desire to. It's a belief issue, and it's almost like a religious issue.
We actually did. We just looked. We just went and looked.
Infected the world of professional pool players.
Really? Professional pool players?
Yeah, professional pool players. There's a guy named C.J. Wiley. He's a top pool player who's 100% convinced the Earth is flat.
Wow.
There's another guy named Max Everly. He's a buddy of mine. Out of his mind. Thinks the world's flat.
I wonder if that's related to their obsession with the table being flat.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you have to make sure the table's level, but then they've got these little round balls on the table as well. So
that's confusing, right?
Yeah, you've got a little solar system going on with your pool balls.
What's confusing is they're smart guys. Like, if you talk to them, you'd be like, this is a reasonable, intelligent guy.
Are they really believing?
Wow, isn't that confusing? I mean, he seems like a reasonable, intelligent guy, but then he believes that the Earth is flat. Well, and he's a pool player, and I don't get it. Yeah, they get it because they can see that the spheres on the table don't have to match the flat table. There's actually flat earth memes out there of that exact thing.
Just because billiard balls are spheres doesn't mean that all the pool tables are spheres as well. The table can be flat and the ball still be spherical. All right? And this guy, oh, it must be like a little solar system. Yeah, where it's flat and all the objects up there revolve around us. Yeah, they might be spheres or they might not be. That doesn't change what the ground is. So when we get into, well, that might be a sphere, that might be round, what's this that you live on is what matters. And it's not a sphere, it's not round. There's no curvature to be found, which rhymes. In fact, Mick West in his Metabunk website, we used his website to debunk the round earth, or ball earth, as we like to say. Yeah, Jennifer, a brilliant flat earth scientist, actually debunked the round earth with the Metabunk website. Jennifer from New York looked across Lake Ontario and she saw Toronto skyline and the Rogers Center, which is only 280 feet tall, might I add, and from 30 miles away, with only her observer height and her feet right at the water, from 30 miles away, she saw the Rogers Center, which from 30 miles away, a 280 foot tall building should be absolutely covered in curvature. Now, Mick's website is dedicated to knocking down that curvature number when you enter in observer height, to where that they can say that you should still be able to see what you're seeing. Jennifer used your website, put in her numbers exact to the T, and still beat your numbers in your website. The Rogers Center should not be visible at all, and it's still visible completely, and I'm going to include her video right now. Bam! So there you go. There is no curvature. We're out performing experiments while you're watching guys lay on top of each other and roll around. Now, we know that you used to not be controlled, Joe, and now you have too important of a job being color commentator on the UFC that they won't allow you to be known as that conspiracy guy who thinks that space is fake and we didn't go to the moon and that the earth is flat. So ever since you backtracked on the moon landing, your credibility has been completely shot. And we've known all along you're a complete tool and a complete shill. And now you're bringing on a guy whose whole life endeavor is to debunk chemtrails and the flat earth. So the poison that they spray on your heads and the reality you experience, yeah, that's Mick West's job. For you to not believe in that fake stuff.
Those flat.
100%. Yeah, they're not shit posting.
Unusual. It's unusual.
People, they go down a YouTube rabbit hole, and that's part of the problem. Is once you believe something, it's very difficult to unbelieve it.
It is, and there's so much out there that if you tell people to do some research, what they end up doing is just looking at more YouTube videos that confirm what they believe. They prefer the ones that confirm it.
Of course. But it's just amazing to me that people would decide that all of these photos were fake so that they don't believe the world is round. But yet they don't have a single photo of this fucking flat earth. Not one. Not one photo. Not only that.
All photos on the earth are flat earth photos, dipshit. Yeah, we've got plenty of photos. We send up balloons. We get 10 miles high and see the flat horizon. This is nothing new. This just shows that you haven't went online and done any research yourself. Because a YouTube video of a balloon going up 10 miles high, still there's no curvature. Yeah, that's of the flat earth. Hell, just me taking a picture of myself standing on the ground, that's a flat earth photo because the earth is flat and I'm taking a photo on the flat earth. So what you said didn't make any sense at all, that there's no pictures of this flat earth. We have a ton of pictures of flat earth. We've saturated the fucking internet with pictures and videos of the flat earth. Where have you been?
Every planet you see is round. You could follow them. You could look at them with if you have a reasonable telescope. You could see the difference as they change and spin.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're round. That doesn't mean that they're spheres. You can't prove that they're spheres. If you can see one side of a circle, that doesn't mean that it's a sphere because you can't see the other side. So you don't know what's on the other side. It might just be a circle of light. Like this. Right? It's a light. It's a light. See? Look at this. It's a circle of light. But it's not a fucking sphere, is it? I'm using this to light my face. Is this a sphere? No, it's not. Let's continue.
I mean, you can tell that they're round. There's
A lot of flat earthers have the same camera that I've got, which is a Nikon P900.
Flat earthers have an excellent camera.
They have. I brought one with me.
Oh, flat earthers have an excellent camera? Duh.
It's this camera. It's just like, it's not like a SLR or anything. It's just like a $600 camera, but it's got this really really long zoom lens on it. Like it's like a 2,000 millimeter zoom lens, so you can see, you can zoom in on the moon, you can zoom in on stars and planets,
right? And
you can use this camera. I've used it a few times to actually take pictures of Jupiter and of Venus and Mars, and you can actually just make out the roundness of the planet and the actual shadow of the sun. Like you'll see Venus as being like the moon, being like an arc.
Yeah, you can see round, circular. That doesn't mean it's a sphere. And just because you can see round lights in the sky, even if they are spheres, again, does not mean that the Earth you're standing on is one. Because you're still picturing yourself in outer space, and you can't understand why all the other things would be circular, but not this thing. That's because there is no outer space that you're floating around in. The Earth isn't a flat disk floating in space with lots of other round things, and us being the only flat thing. That's because that's as far as your mind can go. Because you still have a monkey's brain. You still believe you came out of a monkey's asshole, so a monkey's thought process is as far as you can get. And this guy right here, man, both of his websites dedicated to hiding the truth. And this is who Joe Rogan has on his show, his special guest.
And you'll see Jupiter, and you see the bands of Jupiter. And you can do that with this camera. And this is a camera that a lot of them have, because they're obsessed with zooming in on things that are on the horizon, like ships going beyond the horizon. But if they just take the same camera that they have and point it upwards, they would actually see things in the see the solar system basically that really can't be explained in any other way. Like one great thing is the
Whoa! So he's saying that flat earthers have P900s, but all we do is zoom in on stuff on the horizon and we don't look at the stars, we don't look at the planets. What an idiot! We have tons of videos, it's saturated. The internet is saturated with flat earthers with P900s zooming in on stars, zooming in on planets, right? That's how we prove that they aren't trillions of miles away and light years away. We zoom in on them with the P900. So this guy's an idiot. He's like, they have this camera and they don't ever look in the sky. Yes, we do. We always look in the sky with that camera. Are you an idiot? Well, of course we're zooming in on the moon, we're zooming in on stars, and we're zooming in on planets with our P900s. You stupid moron. And Jupiter having bands does nothing to prove that the Earth is not flat. You can't say, well, Jupiter has some bands on it, so therefore Earth is round. Idiot.
moons of Jupiter. Like if you look at Jupiter real closely, even with some binoculars, you can see it's got these 4 little moons that are orbiting it. It looks like just 4 little lights in a line with Jupiter, and they actually move around in a regular pattern. And they move around. They've got orbits of like some of them are, I think, like 80 hours or something. So they move around really fast. Like every day, it's a completely different pattern with these little dots around Jupiter. And you can actually see that with this camera. I've taken photos of it, posted them on the website, or even with binoculars. And if you actually watch it from day to day, you will see the moons of Jupiter move in exactly the same way that science predicts that they should move, with using Kepler's laws of planetary motion and Newton's law of gravitation. They move exactly as if they are a little simulation of a planetary system. So either there's some kind of weird hologram up in that little corner of the sky which moves around, or there is actually a planet there with little moons orbiting it.
Probably hologram.
Okay, now he's gonna go with well, if we can see Jupiter, and flat earthers must think it's a hologram. Like, how did you make that jump? We can see Jupiter. Yeah, there's bands on it. And it's got some little dots that go around it that you think are moons, when they're actually just little tiny lights that go around a bigger light. So because you see a light that has some stripes on it, and then you see little tiny lights that go around it, that has to mean that the Earth is a ball. Yeah, show us the curvature, jackass. Show us the curvature. Instead of dedicating your life to making a website trying to knock down the curvature number, why don't you just show it to us? Like, you prove it. Instead of dedicating your life to knocking down the curvature number with a complicated math formula in a computer program that you design, you and your buddies, right, for free. Why don't you just go out and measure the curvature on the water and show us?
When did you first become aware of this? Like, you've run Metabunk for a long time, and for those who don't know, Mick and I met on the sci-fi show that I did, Joe Rogan Questions Everything, where we discussed chemtrails or contrails and what causes a jet engine to make what looks like artificial clouds. By passing through condensation, the heat of the engine produces these contrails, and people are absolutely convinced that they're spraying, the government is spraying something in the sky. And you caught it. You had a really good explanation for it. You said they're basically like training wheels for conspiracy theories.
It's something you can see. Yeah, I think is kind of more enticing.
Yes,
and I think the same thing applies to the flat Earth. Now,
all right, so this guy wants you to believe contrails and chemtrails, the same thing. They're all just contrails. They're all natural. It's all good. Nothing to worry about. If you see lines that stay in the sky and linger there all day long, spread out and turn your sky this weird, crazy gray color, it's all good. Nothing to be alarmed. It's just water vapor and ice crystals. It's all good. And he's got a website for you to tell you that. Well, I'm here to tell you that's bullshit.
It's poison. I can't explain exactly what they're spraying, exactly why, but I do know what they're doing is sinister. It's wrong. That's why they aren't exactly telling us what they're doing. So I'm going to show you the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail. And I'm going to expose that there is a huge difference between one that stays in the sky and one that disappears right away.
All right. So you got one plane up higher than the chemtrail you can see, and the one plane over the top is making a trail that's disappearing like a contrail would do. But the original trail that was there before, that one still remains. So you can see the plane flying right there next to it. It's making a contrail that's disappearing. For a while it was actually above, and then it like flew below. So one makes a trail that disappears, and one makes a chemtrail that stays in the sky. See this one? Not disappearing, but the contrail's disappearing. Side by side, chemtrail versus contrail. People say I'm crazy for saying there's a difference, that one's a contrail and one's a chemtrail. You decide.
Like, when I first heard about the flat earth thing, obviously I've heard it before. Actually, my father, going back, when I was young, he told me that he was a member of the Flat Earth Society.
Your father told you that?
Yeah.
Was he joking around?
Kind of, but what he was doing it in a kind of satirical way, ironically. He was doing it because, like, he was like saying people are too sure of themselves, and so I'm going to join the Flat Earth Society. He didn't believe the Earth was round.
So it's been around for quite a while, the Flat Earth Society.
The Flat Earth theory has been around. Obviously, like thousands of years ago, people thought the Earth was round, and then slightly fewer thousand years ago, people figured out that it wasn't. It was figured out by the ancient Greeks, like 3,000 years ago, that it wasn't. And by the
that it wasn't round.
That it wasn't flat. Sorry.
Oh, you fucked it up. You gave up the goose. You said thousands of years ago people thought the Earth was round and they realized it wasn't.
Yeah.
You just, right now, you gave them fuel.
That's a quote that's going to go on YouTube.
Fucked up.
Like my I am a shill quote
Yep.
from the last one.
Yep.
Strike that one.
A slight misquote.